Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and give this video a like up. Former WWE head writer Vince Russo recently fired shots at Triple H for ruining the current product. The veteran reviewed this week's episode of SmackDown. It was the go-home episode of the Blue Brand before Crown Jewel this Saturday. The show featured the return of Solo Sikoa and the MFT. The episode also set the tone for the PLE this weekend. During this week's episode of Bro Down with host Mac Davis, Russo questioned the creative decisions by Triple H and his peers. He explained that being successful wrestlers didn't qualify them to write shows. He pointed out that Vince McMahon was getting old and was out of touch with the current product. However, the veteran writer detailed that Hunter had no such problems and still could not come out with a better product. Russo's criticism of WWE and the game is indicative of his growing frustrations with the product. It will be interesting to see if WWE can put on some stellar shows this year to impress the former writer. Tiaras is a WWE news writer for Sportskeeda Wrestling who started watching wrestling in the later part of the Attitude Era. Although he holds a bachelor's degree in engineering, Tiaras was a creative writer for his college, and his flair for creativity and love of pro wrestling eventually led him to the journalism field. After an initial stint in 2016 to 2017, he has been writing regularly for Sportskeeda since 2021. As someone who loves and respects the business, he prides himself on factual, clean and ethical reporting, free of plagiarism and AI usage. One of the ways he ensures this is by transcribing videos that he reports on. Tiaras had the privilege of interviewing superstar Matt Hardy in his career so far. Although his favorite wrestler is CM Punk, as he relates to his straight-edge philosophy. When he is not reporting news, he loves reading and collecting WWE action figures. He currently owns over 500 wrestling figures and merchandise. He leans back, eyes narrowing. The wrestling ring is far behind him now. This is a different battleground. I've watched you turn this place into a parody. He begins, voice low but cutting. Triple H, Hunter, you're out of touch. You and your creative team, you've lost the map. In the week before Crown Jewel, a former WWE veteran, call him the Insider, has finally broken his silence. The dam has burst. What follows is less a rant than a reckoning. You don't inherit insight just because you've held gold. Look, the Insider says, I respect what Hunter did in the ring. But nobody gave him a pass to run the writing room. You strap on the gear, you win titles, fine. But writing TV, compelling week-to-week narratives, that's a different discipline. He references a widespread criticism that many of WWE's current bookers, including Triple H himself, lack the writer's instincts required to make must-see television. I sat through half a dozen episodes of SmackDown last month. I had to fast-forward the segments in between the finish and the build-up because nothing mattered. The suspense is gone. The stakes are gone. This isn't a new line of attack. Veteran writer Vince Russo has long taken public shots at Triple H's creative judgment. Most recently, in an interview, Russo questioned whether Hunter could really craft good television. Vince got old, he got out of touch. What's your excuse? Why don't you know what makes good TV? The Insider echoes the same skepticism. Because being a legend doesn't teach you pacing, structure, or empathy for the fan's experience. But the scorn isn't reserved solely for Hunter. The Insider levels artillery at the wider creative apparatus, the room of handlers, writers, pluggers. Their sin, being utterly insulated. They sit in their ivory towers, thanking each other for clever ideas, patting themselves on the back for meta-references, thinking this is how smart fans act. But the people paying for tickets, or clicking play, next Monday, they don't care about your inside jokes. They care about surprise. They care about emotion. That's missing. He recounts moments in recent months when major names and feuds were dropped, tweaked mid-run, or ended coldly. Not because the fans rejected them, but because the team decided they weren't fresh enough. That's not flexibility, he says. That's cowardice. There's also the recurring complaint about sheer blandness. We used to watch a show and talk about it with coworkers the next day. Now we just scroll past recaps bored. There's nothing to talk about. The lack of memorable moments, no cliffhangers, no real jeopardy, is a running theme in his rebuke. Why now? Why before Crown Jewel? The Insider frames it as a make-or-break moment. This event isn't just another show. It's a statement spectacle. You've got global eyes on you. Fans in Saudi Arabia, watchers in India, people tuning in from Europe. You either remind the world WWE is worth caring about, or you humiliate yourself on world television. He lays into recent build-ups, angles that feel cobbled together, title runs that seem motivated more by preference than logic, and returns that land flat because there was no foundation for them. Every wrestler deserves a runway. You can't bring someone back just because it looks good in a promo. The crowd won't care if their heart wasn't earnestly invested. In this telling, Crown Jewel should be the chance for the creative team to redeem themselves, to show that they remember what made this business magical. But right now he doubts they will. This is the phrase that haunts the Barbs. Why are you out of touch? He repeats it several times, with different inflections. Because you don't listen to the audience. Because your metrics are internal applause, not reactions. Because your focus is on surprises for you, not surprises for them. He contrasts that with what wrestling used to do. Go off the air with a question, a shock, something that made people wonder how the hell things could resolve. He cites angles from past eras, the good old days, as people like to call them, where storytelling demanded attention. Now, he says, even promising episodes feel like filler. And the real sting? You don't qualify just because of the pedigree. If you haven't earned your way into the creative soul of the show, you're dead weight dragging it down. It's a reminder that tenure or name value can't substitute for relevance. The Insider implies that this is not just a critique, but a symptom of deeper dysfunction. He describes splits between those who want to try bold, unpredictable moves, and those who prefer safe, incremental tweaks. He suggests the latter currently dominates. We used to bet hard, he says. We used to surprise, shock, frustrate, delight. Now they bet pitifully, just enough not to look terrible, and they call it protection. But protection kills energy. He also touches on internal dynamics, hierarchy protecting favored talent, writers shielding each other from dissent, and executives unwilling to admit mistakes. We all have egos, he says, but some of you carry them like a shield, not like a tool. Toward the end, the Insider warms somewhat. I love this business. I love what it is at its best, but if you let it rot for years, that legacy vanishes. People forget. Loyalties shift. The brand becomes a memory more than a living thing. He warns, a failed Crown Jewel, a stale product, and continued audience erosion could bring consequences no amount of star power can mask. He ends with the challenge. You've been king, but royalty doesn't guarantee kingdom. Earn it again, or watch your empire become a highlight reel of past glories, while your contemporaries live in the moment. By morning, the wrestling world is buzzing. Social media lights up with clips of the Insider's jabs. Some fans praise his honesty. Others question his motives. Is it sour grapes, nostalgia, or a legitimate warning? For Triple H and his creative team, there's a choice. Respond defensively, or respond with bold actions. If Crown Jewel wins back respect, this may fade. But if it fails, this article will be remembered as a turning point. In a world where storylines must be compelling and surprises must land, being in touch isn't optional, it's mission critical. And right now, the Insider claims WWE has lost that.